ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
All right, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. Game number 3 coming at you here. Mouse versus Ninjas in Pajamas, and that suggests that means both of these teams won a game. That's
Radiant
right. It was the first game for NiP, the second game for Mousesports. So we got our final game here. One of these teams will be eliminated in the Summer 7 European qualifiers after this. The winning team will advance on to play Pro Dota in losers bracket finals. For that, then advancing on to the playoffs or not. 4 teams move on to the playoffs ultimately, and then one of those
5 seconds remaining.
main event, the $100,000.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
I'm Breaking CPK, joined by Tsunami here.
Pick.
Got an interesting start this time, man. Mousesports going with the Ricky first. Different.
NiP finally may have been respect, but they ban out the IO. Either they're like, I'm sick of dealing with this hero, or they're like, I want to see you use another strategy. And well, by golly, this is a entirely different strategy. A lot of heroes that were being not seen at all. Crystal Maiden was being banned out in, I believe, the first and second series. Baden and Ricky, heroes that are kind of
10 seconds remaining.
They're very solid first phase picks, but yeah, I haven't seen too much of Mousesports recently. I haven't seen too much of maybe next time's Ricky, aside from, you know, Boston, but since then I can't say that I've seen too much of it, but he's made his name on it, so really there's nothing to be concerned about. So far I like Mousesports opening. It's definitely different and something that hopefully can throw NiP off balance, but NiP are already a little bit off balance after that game too.
No doubt, but you know what? They got the Magnus. We stressed how that's already a 2-0 hero in this series alone, and in general a very, very contested pick, as they should be. Any team. So that paired up with the Crystal Maiden. So yeah, NiP, I like the start definitely for them. All of that said, but yeah, Mousesports a little more flavor on their side, as you mentioned, with the Ricky. Maybe next time. That's where my mind went to, you know, especially when Bounty Hunter, even, you know, from that Boston Major. That
exactly.
Those kind of heroes will stealthy, you know, gonna kill your couriers and guessing where he's at. It feels like it's very fitting for him as the third pick to come for NiP. They banned the Lena themselves. They ran 2 games.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and Mousesports banned out their Ember, so not really. I can't see the clear strategy with the bans this time. In the previous series, like, I know NiP were seeing that IO and they repeatedly banned out the Legion Commander and the Bat Rider in the second phase just to make sure there was no real follow-up. And in this situation, I think teams are going for their own strategies rather than trying to ban out enemy strategies. But with Magnus, you have so many options. You ban out the Ember and Ursa, sure, because those are 2 heroes that clearly synergize with it, but there's still plenty of potential. You've got the Juggernaut, you've got the Anti-Mage that we saw in Game 1. NiP have plenty of options with this opening with the Crystal Maiden Magnus.
Putting some thought into it here, and Clockwork.
Wow.
Trixie has been playing a little bit of Clockwork recently, and it looks like it has been a fairly successful here. And Bane in response.
Radiant
All right,
team pick.
Hmm. Yeah, Clockwork, it seems to be seeing a resurgence, especially in the European scene. But now I'm kind of wondering how the lanes are going to work for NiP, because Jungle Magnus was kind of nerfed in the sense that Empower mana cost was nerfed. And
10
so
seconds remaining.
I haven't really seen too much of it, and especially because you're going to be going
5
up against a
seconds
Riki,
remaining.
which Riki can only bother one person. Both Magnus and Crystal Maiden are all both exceptional junglers,
Reserve
and
time.
Riki is only one hero, but this is what started out as a pretty conservative draft from NiP is starting to come out as kind of greedy. Not to say that Clockwork is an inherently greedy hero, but however they choose to lane this is going to be interesting.
Oh, wow, yeah, good point. That just hit me as you said that. Magnus Maida definitely is out of the option. But,
That's true.
Clockwork 4 position also has been seen before,
Dire
too.
team
So, yeah, as you said, it's going to be interesting to see where they value which of those heroes. And Terrorblade coming out. Terrorblade here.
Okay.
Pick again, though. You mentioned how it
10
just kind of flopped in that
seconds
first
remaining.
game. It felt out of place as Bane usually tends to. He's just not a strong
5 seconds
Maida support
remaining.
hero right now. But they're insisting on making it work here.
Yeah, and this game, Fiend's Grip,
Reserve time.
has a lot to be concerned about. You've got Skewer, you've got RP, you've got Frostbite, you've got Battery Assault, you've got Cog, you've got Hookshot, and that's just with 3 out of the 5 heroes that NiP have. So, Fiend's Grip's going to be very tricky, and yet again, it seems like Mousesports don't really give Spartan too much farm on this Bane. They kind of let him lane, but they don't really give him too much farm priority, and an underfarmed Bane proves to be a liability at times. At least this time, there won't be that Rubik counterpick that we saw in Game 1, but still, it's going to be difficult for Bane to find his place in this game, and at least you have some setup. This time you can put Nightmare into a Smoke Cloud, or now you can put it into a charged trap from Templar Assassin, and, you know, meld strikes as well, but still, it's nothing too exceptional that NiP needs to be concerned about, that they're like, oh, we need to get like a
10 seconds
really
remaining.
solid ranged hero to be able to take off Nightmares or something like that. I think NiP can keep on
5
playing whatever
seconds
game they're
remaining.
thinking about playing this draft.
Wondering if I feel like NiP should probably ban out the
Reserve
Life
time.
Stealer here. Could be decent for Mousesports, still needing that one position, and you know,
Oh yeah.
be scary. So
Lifestealer, Juggernaut may be a little bit of an issue. Spell like heroes that can easily follow up after a Nightmare. Mousesports doesn't seem to prioritize it, but it's still something that you need to be concerned about, and especially as a Terrorblade, because even though Bane, you know, I keep talking about Nightmare and Fiend's Grip, Brain Sap is pure damage, and Terrorblade does not have very much HP. He has tons and tons of armor, but who cares when you're taking freaking 300 pure damage right off the bat of a fight, or, you know, when you're getting close to Sunder range. So Terrorblade is going to need some protection in this game, and Crystal Maiden is, you know, an okay lane support, but if you're getting bullied by an Abaddon and a Riki, Crystal Maiden can't hang with those two.
Dire
Clark
team
here
back.
instead.
Dire
Razorman
team
coming
pick.
out from out.
Yeah, so they're expecting not a Magnus mid,
Wow.
Radiant
which-
team pick.
I
One
mean,
Timber's over.
one position Timber keeps on coming back, and it has successes, but more often than not, I feel like I see its failures. Maybe that's just my bad luck, but the
10
one game
seconds
that, like OG picking that one position Timber in the grand finals of
5
Kiev is
seconds
definitely
remaining.
a success, but there was some other game in Kiev that also had a
Reserve
one position
time.
Timber, and it failed miserably. Oh, it was the Secret game, the Secret versus SG game, where Puppy drafted that one position Timbersaw, and it did not
10
work. It
seconds
worked very, very
remaining.
poorly. And at least for what it's worth, this game, there are 2 strength heroes, so Whirling Death has a purpose, and Chakram is good at killing off Terrorblade illusions, but NiP definitely have infinitely better late game right now.
OD coming out with the final pick for NiP. So Mickey, we'll end up with the OD here. Final pick. Again, they already had plenty of scaling in the late game with the Terrorblade active mid dead.
I guess this Clockwork must be, like, being lane support Terrorblade, which Clockwork is pretty good against Timbersaw. It's the same reason why we give Clockwork an advantage against Axe a lot of the times, is because just so much magic damage. And you do have to be concerned with the fact that
10
Timbersaw will be taking
seconds
chain and can get away from most of your magic damage, but still, you do a good job at
5
zoning out a
seconds
Timber.
remaining.
Even though you are strength, you will be eating a fair amount of damage from Whirling Death. It's still not that bad, but yeah, we'll see where Hani decides to spend a lot of his time, because if he doesn't spend at bot, then Crystal Maiden and Terrorblade are just going to get obliterated by the Abaddon and the Riki.
Clockwork indeed, huh? So Trixie. So, that, playing which hero makes sense. Putting in now. We're gonna...
Yeah, apparently maybe next time it disconnected. Which Riki has he has a lot of options of where he wants to spend time, because mid lane is pretty easy. Once you see OD use an Astral for maybe a last hit or something, you immediately start going in, and Templar Assassin can totally take advantage of Riki initiation with an Orb of Venom, because you have so much damage with that refraction buff, so there is a lot of stuff that maybe next time can do this game, especially in the early game.
Team number 3 again, yeah. DC issues throughout the series, but clean one here in game 3 and finishing an elimination match. After this one, guys, we do have another series lined up. We got Alliance versus Vega Squadron series there. My favorite Alliance. Down from the CIS region. Empire, in fact, speaking of CIS region, they're the one team so far to qualify for the playoff stage. I mean, they're brothers of sort. Same later on. 2 teams moves on to the playoffs, but right now we got to finish the series in which they eliminated even. Play against Pro Dota game. All right, here we go.
Both of these teams have a real bone to pick with Pro Dota also, as NiP especially from today, but then Mousesports also from earlier in this specific tournament. So yeah, Pro Dota are going to be the final boss for both of these teams, but you've got to get through the first few dungeons first. And based off of the draft, I prefer NiP, but that's just because in game 1, Mousesports just were not able to do anything with this Bane. It's Bane that really concerns me the most, but if Spartan manages to find his place in the game, then I have no doubt that Mousesports will be able to progress well into the late game. Even though they don't have the best draft, their early aggression should carry them there.
Next time, down in the Radiant Jungle here. Block that spawn camp right there as well, and now he's head back up to the left side. He's not going to go for any kind of steal just yet. He's back in.
Yeah, there's no dust on either of these heroes.
The battle begins.
They put a sentry over here.
Oh, he gets it. Nice.
They're pinging like exactly where he is, but again, they can't really do much about it.
Oh, and Bane successfully takes out the mid ward, and now gives the second sentry ward to maybe next time. So yeah, it looks like MNT is going to be spending a lot of time bullying mid. He sees that he's in range of a sentry as he draws creep aggro. Now the question is, who eats faster? Oh, and Mickey actually attacks, so MNT knows that it's kind of on the eastern side. Okay.
Information as you put out, but MNT for now is just going to kind of wrap around, maybe check to see if we can find any supports here. Happen to both be hugging the trees here, middle lane. So definitely gonna see some action here in the middle. There we go. The OD puts under.
Cogs?
Oh, not right there. The cogs are gonna go off eventually. Nice positioning right there. The root on top of them. Bane gets his way through. It's not gonna be enough though. First blood in favor of Hani. Maybe next time just couldn't really get it in time.
Yeah, and even if he came, he would have been on the south side of the river. Would have just gotten cog bounced back, but Spartan comes right back. Does not need to really help out a Timbersaw, obviously, as a 1v1 situation. Timbersaw versus Magnus is going to be pretty even. Nothing too flashy going on there. And you could help out the bot lane, but Skylark is also doing just fine because Terrorblade doesn't have any support. Right now the Clockwork and the Crystal Maiden have been spending a lot of time mid. They get the first blood, now they progress over to the bot lane. And now we'll see how long this tri-lane stays a tri-lane.
Exactly, now it's like the natural transition here, Crystal mating in an attempt jungle of sorts, but he, maybe still the last hit, he is being seen right here. Actually, was going to be cocked up, but now Crystal Maiden run down by Skylark. With that curse, and Honey having to get out of here. He's going to run into Bane, though. Oh. This is a desperate maneuver here by Clockwork.
Oh, he's dead. Brain sap.
The nightmare. No, the Cox. Yes, the brain sap is in range. Nice little back rune. A lot of activity early on, though.
I'm glad that Hani has the question mark item, because we're going to be seeing a lot of question marks from his cogs. He's been playing heroes that don't really get denies very often, but this time we're going to be seeing it plenty. The tri-lane does not get anything substantial done, really, and so now Clockwork decides to put his energy back onto the mid lane. Thug doesn't have an Observer Ward on the high ground yet, but Clockwork's not the fastest hero. Mika's going to use the Astral. Clockwork emerges.
The opening, so again, Thug having some trouble. The battery saw causing issue, but Mickey just going to block him a little bit, put in some auto attacks. Don't think it's going to be enough in the end, though. So good execution, but simply didn't have enough firepower though.
Yeah, Thug was sitting on the refraction anyway. He wanted to bait them a little bit deeper, and now it might cost them.
Oh. Able to trap him though, even if he was, still probably wasn't going to happen because the refraction's up. The illusion rune instead, so definitely harassing Thug quite a bit, but again, unable to get the kill here. It's a nice setup though, with the first element into the cock block.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty telegraphed though, so once Ricky starts coming by, then Clockwork may just bumble his way in and then come into a smoke cloud and he's going to be like, oh god, I can't cast anything. Same thing with Skylark. He's kind of been sitting around in this bot lane, understandably. He's going to wait until a while before he emerges. I'm curious what he'll go for on this Abaddon. Possibly the Midas into Radiance, as this game it wouldn't be too bad, and you need someone who can scale late, because Timbersaw is not going to be your traditional late scaling carry, so someone else needs to help Templar Assassin deal damage. Now Nightmare onto OD mid.
It's going to be a brain sap follow-up and more than enough damage. Wow. Level 2 brain sap doing plenty.
Don't sleep on it. It's a lot of pure damage, 160 pure damage. OD is another hero who has, you know, pretty high armor. Underneath his tower he was sitting on like 5 armor, but doesn't really matter when you're dealing with pure damage, and Thug didn't even need to use Refraction. He hasn't taken an early point in Meld, which is a little bit surprising because you can dodge the battery assault damage, but already Hani has Dust, so he would have been ready for it. Now they're going to go again. Thug trying to break his way out.
Feels like they're going to come short though. Refraction of 5 seconds. Maybe not battery assault. It is not level 2 yet, but this time it is going to be enough actually. Refraction at the last second, but it couldn't get enough.
Bot lane, Era, getting really heavily blocked here. Spartan has a Nightmare. They're going to get the kill.
Nice revenge there. So a lot of pressure on the TA mid. They finally get a kill out of it. But because of all the support constantly being in the middle lane, I mean, Terrorblade's vulnerable.
He'll be able to recover fairly well, and the Ricky will be the main thing that Terrorblade needs to be concerned about, but if you keep on shutting down Thug, then who cares if Ricky knows where you are if no one can kill you. Meanwhile, Madara gets the kill. He just hit level 6 on this Timbersaw, so Chakram plus Whirling Death is a little too much damage. Meanwhile, Insania.
This breakout here, yeah, Insania is going to eventually get picked off, and now here comes the support from OD, but good Nightmare onto him, trying to prevent the leap in for maybe next time, but he was basically dead at that point. He had to get out of that battery assault somehow. And it ends up dying in the long run. Spartan, I don't know if he's getting out of this one. He doesn't have nearly enough mana for the TP that he has in his inventory. He's gonna run as long as possible, man. That's a nice movement speed here, I mean.
Yeah, and this ward, he knows exactly that both the heroes, Hani and OD, both went to catch him on the other end, and OD's like, whatever, man, you can kill him if you want, I'm gonna go farm. And Spartan gets out. Only Ricky goes down, so not too bad. Although now Hani still wants more. But Spartan has backup.
Soon.
Yeah. Because I was saying that the only thing that Terrorblade really needs to be concerned about during like the mid-game farming phase is where Ricky is, and if Ricky is farming... Oh wow, what a dust on the Radiant jungle. It's sweet maybe next time. He's dead.
The result, yeah, that was a sentry was here. My guess is that, yeah, just happened to see him and dust came out.
I guess they saw this bounty rune disappear, and they were like, well, Ricky must be here. And they kill off the Observer Ward that Ricky just placed as he was dying, so very costly investment. I hope that bounty rune was worth it.
Take that back, but he's back up and good to go, and to make some plays here. But as you mentioned, Terrorblade, you know, he's doing some jungling, so recovering a little bit, and he's used his meta form just yet. Will happen, as we tend to see with some Terrorblades, but obviously it's a difficult time to do so. His supports are constantly being active either, whether it's in the middle lane or just involved with Riki and Bane doing their thing, so they really can't have they don't have the setup here.
And plus, Abaddon's about to hit level 6, so even that kill potential goes down, but Mousesports are staying true to form. They're bringing 3 heroes down here again. They killed off the Observer Ward that Crystal Maiden had placed on the cliff for the bottom rune. Spartan coming in position. Skylark's not... Oh, he is 6, but he hasn't skilled Borrow Time yet.
Riki is coming over as well, but there goes Scarlet. He pops his Borrow Time right there. Meanwhile, Era being run down. Comes out, but Era is going to turn actually on a Riki using that meta form and has some support from OD to assist for that. Yeah, Riki kind of realized at that point that he was pretty deep and probably in trouble. The tower there, so good response at least from NiP. Back to the middle lane now. A little bit of lost time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Deal?
Yeah, nothing too substantial. Thug's been farming up Ancients in the meanwhile, not really pressuring the mid tower. These rotations from NiP are working out so well. It's one of the most difficult things about picking a Clockwork is that, like, you kind of have to fight wherever Clockwork says, I want to fight. Meanwhile, Era, he has Metamorphosis for a few more seconds, so he could turn it.
Wow, Skylark
Nice
melting that
Nightmare.
Borrow Time, not up, but a good job with the Nightmare on the Crystal Maiden and then the Bottic Shield on himself from a bit on theirs. Live, but yeah, that was a little scary. Meta damage. Madara, meanwhile, the top lane though, he has a level 4 reactive armor. He's just camping beyond the tower, and he's clearly causing a massive issue. Look at Trixie, he's just running this whole time.
This'll come in
He
handy.
can actually pour it out in the end. But this is being dominated up here by Timbersaw. Not that I'm surprised, but man, he's 4,000 net worth already.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's actually this substantial because, you know, Trixie went for the Iron Talon. You can pretty easily progress into the jungle if you feel like you're getting pressured too heavily. And obviously, Shockwave is great. You know, it's not really going to be able to zone the Timbersaw out, seeing as he can just draw aggro from the creeps and get a bunch of HP regen from reactive. But still, you can farm pretty easily. But it seems like Magnus has been spending a lot of time in the lane. Now he has progressed into the jungle, but only after hitting level 8, which he has RP taken, so if they want to do something with it, they can, but they might not before he completes his Blink Dagger.
Also looking at Abaddon, mentioned the idea of what he may be building here, and again, you talked about having Timbersaw. He could just go a little bit more of a greedy choice, and it looks like that's what he's going for. He's going to at least the early hand of Midas, and definitely wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Solar Crest first, but if anything, that Radiance about top priority. Click to go along with the TA here. Zania port spot him.
They scan him.
See him here, they're going to chase out Skylark.
He has Aphotic Shield. He's waiting for Frostbite.
Go. It's so tough for Crystal Maiden because, yeah, it's like, what can you do about that?
What can you do about this? Borrow Time's up. Era took an early point in Sunder, so he'll have it if he needs it.
Coming as well. Where's that Sunder? Now you just doesn't not need it. Crystal Maiden goes down to RP. Catches Abaddon. Borrow Time going to be wearing off right there. Skylark is going to end up falling. Bottic Shield explodes. Bloody does go down. Madara, meanwhile, currently out of mana for the most part. Just on a soul ring use. Mana form still up for Era. Spartan, he's going to left behind. And he is definitely going to be down right here. Nightmare, the Phrase Staff. He's trying to live it as long as possible. Did a good job at it, but killing spree now. Going to be their double kill even for Era, but the killing spree stopped even Bane right there. For NiP, bottom lane, they take the hero kill lead even.
They keep putting so much energy on Era, but Era is benefiting from it every time. He's 3-1-0. He's only gone down once on this Terrorblade, and sure, he's not getting that much farm, but he's still number 3 net worth. So, I mean, it's a lot of energy spent just on one lane. Meanwhile, OD is just like, oh, okay, you guys are fighting, I can come help. And meanwhile, I'm just gonna be chilling down mid. So, Mals are spending a lot of energy in one specific lane, and it might come back to cost them because, like I said, they don't have the best late-game carry. You may be able to bully the Timbersaw repeatedly, but if you're not killing him, then he's going to come out on top.
So quickly,
next
I
time.
caught that right at the tail end. Riki just being run down there. Put down to find him for sure and secure that kill.
Wait, Bloodstone? Who's going Bloodstone?
Timbersaw. It's almost done.
Oh, right.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah,
tower
yeah.
is under attack.
Pattern. 100 gold. So yeah, it's gonna be again a very early bloodstone. You see, on Timbersaw for me, it makes so much more sense because the ending is so fucking middle lane. By the way, OD gonna get caught here. The Fiend's grip locking him down. Puts himself under though to mitigate. The follow Smart wants to skill the brain snap. He's not gonna get it. Gets up with the battery assault to cancel the animation. Well played behind him right there. Traps him in. And secures a kill on him, but more importantly, saves his teammate in the end. Very good timing.
Yeah, it's poor Bane. One of the. It's a short list of heroes that get chain broken for their cast animations by battery assault, but yeah, Bane is definitely one of them. You almost wish that maybe if I had gone for the right click, I may have been able to finish off Mickey instead, but yeah, it doesn't get that kill. Only as support goes down. Thankfully, Thug did not go in that deep, but it would have been really nice if you could finish off that OD. Meanwhile, bot lane, Trixie does not want to carpool with Skylark.
Yeah, good enough getting in front, even with that, without that though. I mean, the Nightmare was ready, used it right there. Down goes Magnus. Not much of a getaway chance for the Trixie. It's a good setup there with Bane porting in and Abaddon coming in with the flank. Magnus trying to get that blink dagger, but once again going to be stalled. So that's key for Mouse. But their top tower, all this is happening, is going to fall as well in favor of Terrorblade. He takes it out. So yeah, Terrorblade keeping that net worth nice and pretty. But man, look at TA actually. TA really jumped. Must have done some ancients or something.
Well, you have to keep in mind that literally everyone else has shown up to a fight. Thug has not really gone to anything. He's been alternating between the jungle and the mid lane, which, you know, they're only down 2 kills despite their mid not rotating, which is pretty good because OD's been showing up to a fair amount of fights, and as a result, kind of falling down. He's only number 5 net worth on the OD, whereas Thug is confidently in number 1, and he has this Desolator completed, so it might be time for TA to show her face. Or half of her face, at least.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Away from that, I guess. Middle lane, just gonna go for him there for now. Top lane, the Yara will fall back after putting a load of pressure on the tower. Again, the stone's picked up. And like I was saying earlier, just the idea of the Bloodstone on Timbersaw, just the fact that he's so bulky and so difficult to kill. Ideally, he's gonna be able to not only retain those charges, but, you know, add up over time and keep them there.
Exactly.
Lena, a little more fragile. Anamite is finished on Illusion.
This'll come in handy.
Arm away here. So yeah, that possible Radiance is going to be coming up in a timing as well.
Yeah, you had mentioned the Solar Crust, but the thing is that the only hero that can really take advantage of it is TA, and she already has the Desolator, so if you go too all in on minus armor, it's a very expensive item that your team isn't benefiting from. So I would prefer the Radiance. It would help him scale better into the late game. Instead, he's going to be going for a Vlad's, which is also fine. Aura items in general are just fine, and items that basically discourage the enemy team from fighting are all good. So, oh, hook shot onto an illusion.
Tried. Down for another minute though. Trying to finish his own blade mail now. Again, 4 position clockwork, so it's all right as far as his progress being made. Come. Now into the Roshan pit is Thug, and right now soloing it currently. But they're going to spot him with the illusion.
Nice. Now the question is, how well can you contest it? You know that hook shot's down. I don't know if Trixie has shown off his blink dagger yet, but if he hasn't, then this is the time.
Smoking in. Yeah, this could be absolutely huge. Waiting for that big RP. Nightmare onto the OG. Trixie wrapping around. He's trying to, but no, he's going to be spotted out right now. Smart sees that he's going to blink away, actually. So very defensive blink right there. Hero's running in, though, as if he wants to fight this. He has a stutter, but he thinks it's good damage. He's built from the uphill, though, doing plenty itself. Borrow time activated. He's going to stay alive with Skylark, but Jarla comes in and cuts to the coast minute. There's that stutter, and there's the RP. Skewers that back right into the teammate. Gets the one on Timbersaw, gets the 2 on Bane, and Dog's also going to fall victim, most likely trying to stand his ground. No, it's not going to happen. Double kill comes out, and it's like deja vu from this whole series. The big RP comes out and does the work in this case for NiP. Down goes Ricky on top of that, and Skylark says, well, I'm still alive, and on Timbersaw, he is back up with that Bloodstone. So if anything, they're going to prevent them from stealing the Roshan, but still a successful fight for NiP.
Yeah, you've got these bouncers outside the Roche club, but no one on NiP can really confidently go into it, and Roche is still really low, so TA can honestly just go right back in. RP was spent, Metamorphosis was spent. The thing is that if NiP are able to bully the Timbersaw out, then positioning becomes an issue. Nice skewer.
Catch the Skylark right there, and no borrow time this time around. They're confident of that, and they secure the kill as a result. OD, he is down to Gets the smoke here, maybe next time diving in is going to pop a strict to the trade, but down goes Bane in return. And now MNZ has to escape on out of here. Timbersaw filling off the illusions once again, but now it's a turn of NiP to actually take out Roach, and it feels like. Yeah, with 2 being dead, Abaddon especially. It's kind of scary for Mouse to want to engage this, but they want to damage. Shocker in. That Desolator on Thug allows him to do plenty of damage. Era, he gets the root note from his teammate of Crystal Maiden on a Thug, and Thug's going to have to start backing off right now. Refraction coming up in a second, but this is just such a slippery dance, man, as far as around the Roche shot, and finally everyone's back up, and it's like it's never even happened.
Hookshot is up, RP is down for another 25 seconds. Thug goes in, and he's kind of gonna get spotted out. Hookshot is ready. Everyone needs to stop blocking Clockwork.
There we go. Who's gonna get the Roche?
Steal it!
Roshan kill with the stolen. Nobody picks it up just yet. Arrow finally
Terrorblade
it in favor of NiP. So now he's running away. Thunder up in 10 seconds. Insania with the freezing kill. Thug's trying to get the turn kill on Magnus. He got the kill on Ricky, but now Thug is in trouble himself over here as Clockwork is gonna end up going down to Timbersaw.
They have no detection for TA.
They do not have detection, though. Yeah, he's going to hide here for the time being. Arrow, meanwhile, he has an Aegis, but he's careful not to give it up. He has a Sunder, though. Oh, but again, Thug's lives, they don't want to be doing that necessarily.
Fiend's Grip, OD.
Here, they got the kill on OD. Meanwhile, so he's just playing a distraction while his teammates are kind of cleaning up, so... But yeah, if you're NiP, you lose casualties, but I mean, you have the Aegis.
Radiant's middle tower
Played so.
Radiant's
That's a tough call, to be honest. I really don't know who comes out on top at the end of all that. I mean, Terrorblade did not die throughout any of that, and so initially he was kind of suffering in net worth, and now he's kind of closed the gap a little bit. He's still in number 3 place, because it was the kill of Roche that went to Mousesports, unfortunately, and if he did not get the kill, they just got the snatch of the Aegis, and really, they can't really do much with this Aegis on Terrorblade. Yeah, sure, it's nice, he'll be able to farm a little bit more safely with it, but he's still just as much of a liability as he was before because he had to spend so much attention not farming, policing this Roche, and Mousesports went in harder than they needed to after the recovery from the first fight because TA wasn't up, and while TA wasn't up, they lost the Abaddon because borrowed time was down, and they knew that in NiP, they don't have the team to be able to take the Roche. Metamorphosis was down, RP was down, OD doesn't do that much damage to Roche at this stage of the game, so you can just kind of chill. But they only lost the Abaddon, they end up getting the Roche kill. They don't take the Aegis, but at 18 minutes in, the Aegis isn't that important for Thug, especially since it was pre-Blink Dagger, but now after all that fighting, Thug has managed to farm his way into a Blink Dagger on top of this Desolator.
Yeah, that's good for TA, and their double damage room bottled up on top of that, so...
Oof.
Chance to drop somebody very quickly. Next target may be an Arrow pushing up the middle lane. Meta is ready to go against Center. Also up. They're going to spot with the rocket flare even.
Trixie has RP.
He does. Dinar ready to go. Bane, nope. Down. Now for only another 20 seconds though. Throws the tower kill easily with that mid hookshot in. Thought they were. Nope. They're going to put him under though. Maybe hookshot now. They don't want to get too much. Score misses. Well played right there. Body kill the Nightmare combo. The actually is not going to get caught as a result. And now Era has to back it off. So yeah, they just did not want to really commit to the Bane. I mean, that's understandable. It's just the Bane and
right.
Too deep.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Now Era from a distance with that meta form still up is damage into the secondary target. The Aegis. Pretty good. Being very patient right now. But, you know, heroes around Terrorblade aren't getting much farm.
Yeah, it's the liability of putting an Aegis on a Terrorblade this early on, because you can start a fight, but then you need to also be able to get out of the fight whenever Terrorblade comes out, doesn't have Metamorphosis, and he's just kind of a dude with Sunder, but that's all he offers in terms of damage when he just has a Dragonlance Yasha. But they take the tier 1, they also waste Mousesports time for the most part, so that works out in their favor, but not too much is coming out after that bloodbath near the pit.
Damn, what is this? Hatred. Jetting on in here, he puts in a
Hook shot?
Nice! Gonna connect. Shots go up, and again, he just really can't cast anything because of the battery assault, so Hatred. You gotta kind of wonder what he was doing. I don't know if they're gonna spot this for it. Did a pretty good job of hiding
under
that.
Attack.
Placed. And Thug bottom lane.
He did a lot of damage on this tier 2. That double damage rune really showed its worth. Takes it down to deny range if they want to deny it, but that's a pretty important tower at this stage of the game. You relinquish a lot of control of your jungle if you go for the deny, and so they're going to instead return the favor, start pushing out the bot lane. They may lose top as a result if Madara wants to continue pushing top, but he's going to need to show up for a defense.
Mentioned the last game for first, but now he does have that Radiance toggled, and
Oh, you said it. You jinxed it. You put Solar Crest into his mind.
that's dead more so. And see, I was going to kind of work off of what I was going for right there with. Can he afford to still go, right into that Radiance now? Because that means the next good 5+ minutes out easily, 5 to 8 minutes even. So he's not going to, be as enhanced here as far as items go. So it is a little bit risky.
Radiant's bottom
Instead, he chooses to go the Solar Crest, which is how active the game is being.
Yeah, but then even then I would say, like, if you want this early activity, even an Aghanim Scepter would be a little bit more effective, because, like I said, Solar Crest isn't going to be too effective in terms of damage enhancement, because, I mean, okay, Terrorblade may miss a few attacks, but you still have to worry about OD, and this is all assuming that you're able to sustain the initiation that NiP are bringing. Now, Era, his Aegis goes down, but he takes that top tier 2, uncontested. But bot lane, Nightmare, start on OD, instead they're going to go on Hani.
Nearby, in fact, Distracted Sanity's Eclipse comes down. It hits Spartan, but eventually we'll secure the kill onto him, so I think they expected perhaps more to be there. Engaging, but the rest just scatter away. Middle lane, Skylark needs to be caught somewhat. There's a freeze, but Time runs away. Good. Out of there at least. Catch on Bane, but again, he's still up in 10 seconds.
And NiP are being so fast and loose with these ultimates, like they just pop Sandy's like, oh, wow. RP, yeah, see, exactly like that.
They get it, and they knew that he didn't have borrowed time there, so very good catch on the Abaddon. And now he's staying dead for a good 45 seconds, so speaking of being very aggressive and using the ultimates.
Yeah, Mousesports are playing the way that, I mean, like, NiP are playing the way that Mousesports are trying to play. They're trying to be like, okay, let's just, toss out these ultimates, let's get these kills, let's get whatever we can, because you have free reign. Typically, Mousesports would be like, okay, RP's down, let's go do something. But they're just not finding openings. They're either not finding heroes with this Ricky, which maybe next time has had a real, like, he's been quiet under the radar, finished off the Midas, and he's getting, pretty good progress on his Diffusal Blade, but I don't really know if the Diffusal Blade is what you should be waiting for when NiP have basically 3 carries on their team, because Timbersaw is going to start falling off. He got this Bloodstone early on, hasn't gotten a charge on it in, like, the past 15 minutes or so. Not 15 minutes, maybe like 7 minutes or so. I mean, he got a pretty early Bloodstone, to be fair, but they keep on getting more and more items and they're not doing anything with it. TA completed that Blink Dagger, didn't really do anything with it. Now has this BKB. If she can find something with it, great, but otherwise you're going to wish that you went for a more farming item, like, a Crystallis into a Bloodthorn or something.
I mean, it's obviously that Roshan fight is what really set the pace of this game. I mean, I understand that Mouse continues to be in the lead with net worth, but yeah, as far as the momentum, as far as the feel of the game, it does seem like NiP has really benefited from that. The fact that they got the Aegis stolen, it gave Terrorblade very good presence for pushing that top lane early to some secondary towers, and now they're going to push the middle lane. Obviously, Aegis isn't up, but it also allowed him to finish the SNY, which I wanted to talk about that real quickly too, because he did this in a recent series as well, going the SNY in full on a Terrorblade. Going that over more of the traditional Manta style, that makes sense to me.
I guess that's just Era's preferred build. I mean, even things like Pike are sometimes a little bit more popular, especially when you have to, just the trade. They find the Ricky, and then he gets out.
He's gonna get the tower kill this Era, but now Mickey is bouncing around. Finding when they're gonna find the bait over here, Nightmare, on the Terrorblade. Somebody needs to take that off. Yeah, he's just like, I'm going for a snooze here, guys.
And Thug wants to initiate so bad, but he's in such a weird position. He's near this pit, not anywhere near his tower. He wants to go in on Create CM, but doesn't get it. Now she's gonna get Astraled? No?
Good shot, okay, that works. The Astral though.
OD is alone here. Trixie has Blink RP. Oh, but he can't go into the cloud.
Go in with the skewer. No RP though, because it's only the one. He's going to try to TP out. It's not going to happen. Yeah, it's kind of awkward. I mean, he kind of saves the OD. It's not even going to save him in the long run, it looks like. McKay's still getting caught out. Yells in the air. From the Timber Salt, Smokescreen goes down, and they will catch up to the OD. So the pursuit pays off big time in favor of Mouse.
That was like the most staggered retreat NiP could have gone for. They had 2 heroes TP back to defend the top tier 2 that Timbersaw was pushing, but then OD and Magnus were kind of lost at sea here, and now they have all their ultimates up. They want to stall for as long— oh my gosh, goodbye Insania. They need to wait, but they can't. This Roche is going down too quick. 10 seconds until Magnus comes back.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to stop. I mean, it's not even the quickest. Arrow wants to fight this, maybe next time. Smokescreen down. So close, because yeah, now he's back up on Trixie, and he does have an arm to go.
Oh, no, but his TP was down!
However, Thug steals it. Or Thug gets it, I should say. Doesn't steal it. Clockwork is unable to steal it, and as he mentioned, was that one? Yeah, so I was wondering where the Magnus was.
He went for that skewer save and immediately TP'd out. Who would have thought that it would have come back to bite him this far back? Now OD's in trouble. Has Pike up in 9 seconds, but that's not going to be enough.
That's a Fiend's Grip from a massive distance right there. Force that forward, and he is going to have time to the end. So can he proceed there for a 50
well played by Skylark.
Breathing still going up the backline from Insania, doing a little bit of damage, but she'll be found eventually and essentially drops so quickly. And Thug's been doing that very well with that Desolator, especially so.
And he's able to do that because Skylark immediately borrowed timed after getting hit by the RP and then plopped an aphotic shield on Thug to wipe that disable off, and the RP was basically nullified entirely. And they still have this Aegis. OD's dead for another 20 seconds. I don't think that they can go for high ground. I mean, Thug hasn't used his BKB a single time. It's still a 10-second BKB. And now he has another 3k gold to his name, so they're gonna back off. They still have plenty of time left on this Aegis. You can farm up, get some more items on... I guess the supports as now Skylark completes the Solar Crest, so yeah, Mouse are widening that net worth graph.
Yeah, and even got Ricky. You mentioned the Diffusal Blade, and now he has that, and he's even going to Yasha, so this is actually a hero that's definitely going to be able to transition pretty nicely into doing some decent damage, being a pick-off artist himself. On say this Crystal Maiden especially. Find her alone or during a fight pretty quickly. So that's something else to be concerned of for NiP. Top it all off, you have Timbersaw finishing Ashivas now. Switching around as far as next time, I saw you had an Octarina. We eventually get
hopefully you can get alive. Insania? They have vision with this reflection illusion. They're toying with him right now. They don't know where his team is because they still have a tier 1 up, and they're gonna back off.
And that would have been so dangerous, so bulky, and he actually does have 16 charges now on that. He's pretty good. He's pretty well off. Yeah, TA, she is going to go the Bloodthorn next. He has the Orchid and Bloodthorn to follow. It's definitely a nice item to have.
Bloodthorn's going to be so worth. Mike is fallen behind a lot on this OD. He's still number 5 net worth, and that was where we saw him in the first, 5 minutes of the game. That's understandable for an OD to be there at that stage, but at 30 minutes in, you really need your OD to be more farmed than your Magnus, and so if he gets Bloodthorned, there is nothing— oh, hookshot connects.
Well, that was a fancy play from Hani, or attempted fancy play, because he had the Tricks of the Trade pop from Ricky, and so he tried to force staff out of and hookshot backwards into it.
The old 360 no-scope.
Yeah. Good attempt, but that's what it is, but buys more time for Thug to just farm up and again finish the 1,000 gold now for that full unblood.
And still this 10-second BKB. This is normally the fear that I have with early TA BKBs. It's like you are playing so aggressively with it that you're just burning through these charges, and as you go later and later, then you are going to lose efficacy against these heroes like OD mainly, but also the Clockwork. Now they're starting to motion for high ground. They have this Aegis. Oh my RP.
You're backwards, right into Crystal Maiden actually, so she's gonna back it off, but the Blink Dagger's used for a fraction and actually will survive as TA. Timbersaw going in, being the only victim there. Not the worst deal for now, considering how solid of an RP that seemed like it was. They're chasing though. Mickey wants to make more happen out of this. Have it Off to the side, Crystal Maiden, we've seen that once twice before. She just melts the second they blink on top of her. So she's dead. Abaddon, the borrowed time has been popped. Back over half-life here himself. Again, he's doing this without the Chrysalis or that pull-up Bluffer for that matter. The Skewer's going to miss this now. But they are holding at least. As far as tier 3 goes.
Yeah, about 40 seconds left on this Roche, but I think they're just going to leave it. I'm surprised that they wanted to go before Thug completed that Bloodthorn. Like, you see, throughout that engagement, Thug ended up making enough gold to do it, and I don't think the Crystal Maiden kill was like, oh man, I just hit the jackpot. No, that was just another day at the office for TA, but they went in before completing it. Thug finally blows his first BKB charge, and it's not, you know, the biggest deal, but that was a really nice RP, and they're going to need to be more and more concerned about that as the game progresses, because even though NiP don't have the best team for killing creeps to help their high ground defense, the presence of that Blink Skewer, or the Blink RP obviously, is going to be repeatedly intimidating. And, I mean, OD has a Pike, so theoretically Mike could go for like an aggressive Pike into Astral to set up for stuff like Blink back into Skewer, but it's still a lot of stuff that Mousesports need to be concerned about.
Something else that is kind of interesting too with Bane here. Whenever you think Bane, you think of the lockdown neighborhood. The Fiend Screw Up, the Nightmare, you know, Solid Burst with the Brain Tap, but I think Feeble ability is now maxed out as we picked up in this game. He's level 13 here. That's something that Terribly is definitely going to be hurt by. I mean, that's minus 120 raw damage right there. If he'd be dealing otherwise, and he doesn't have a way to really get rid of that at. So that's kind of another thing as a spectator is kind of hard to see in fights, but I wouldn't be surprised that's already been having an impact and could continue to have an impact. Yeah, but that's the beauty of NiP's draft, is even if you take out one of the carries, the other carries will still be dealing damage. And, you know, there's actually nothing that Terrorblade can do against Enfeeble. Enfeeble is one of the very, very rare spells that is completely undispellable. You can make sure that it doesn't go on you if you're already BKB'd, but even BKB won't take it off, so... Oh, Madara, top lane. Okay, this is a difficult kill, though. Nearly dies himself, but... oh, the Sandy's Eclipse misses as well, adding insult to injury. Now Ricky is like, alright, one pick, let's go for another one, maybe. Pop the tricks of the trade meanwhile, buys the time for the team's main, but now he's gonna back off. He has a Blink Dagger, by the way. I like it. Unfortunately, TA was a long ways away, but TA might be looking for picks now. Bloodthorn onto the... Uh-oh. Yeah, oh yeah, hit the use it. It was on the Clockwork, but Clockwork immediately forced staffed and TP'd. Now Pike. They really want to get kills. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna get it though. Trixie's dead. He does not have a buyback action. Now Ricky does go down elsewhere. Era actually gets credit for the kill on him. He's gonna stay safe enough distance though. Hurricane Pike, the Winged Butterfly, so. If you can force out a Magnus buyback, that would be great. Bot lane's pushing. You didn't get any damage done on the tier 3 bot, but still, if you force Magnus to buy back, because he has RP, so he would be more than willing to buy back. So ideally, you just let Thug siege. You don't have the Aegis anymore, and you don't have BKB for 30 seconds, so it's a bit risky. So we'll see how confident NiP are. Seems like they're pretty confident. They are. Well, they're gonna have to hold of some sorts here. Meanwhile, Terrorblade, he's been Fiend Script right here, so he's been locked in pretty heavily. Oh god, the RP. The big 3-man RP, the push is right back into the tower. Ricky's staying there from before, but Bane and Timbersaw also gonna die. Skylark, borrow time popped. Next full life, of course, but he's gonna die in the long run. So NiP, not only do they choose to hold, but they definitely hold in the end. These RPs continue to work out big time, man. I mean, they forced out the buyback, but like the idea of forcing out a buyback is you hear the sound and you're like, all right, well, you sold your soul to the devil, we're gonna back off now. But instead they were like, dude, I got the Fiend's Grip on the Terrorblade. We can probably kill him. Let's all clump up and we can probably do it. And then like Trixie, like he must have shift queued that blink, because like the whole time during the TP animation, people were just getting closer and closer to each other, and he got a 3-man RP. Yet again, Mousesports, like they still have a really substantial net worth lead, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't take any structures. Yet again, they deal 0 damage to the tier 3, and the edge that TA has with early Roches is also diminishing, because now Era has a lot of damage. Era is very big. He has a Butterfly completed, 10-second BKB, on top of this Sanjin Yasha, and he's going to be going for a Bloodthorn of his own, so
Terrorblade is a force to be reckoned with.
Really, I think something's here, but I guess it might have been an illusion to be fast.
Yeah, it's these Riki illusions.
It's like scary. Yeah,
They haven't bought a gem yet on NiP, and so every single time they see one, they're like, it has to be it, let's kill him.
Bad to have, obviously. Terrorblade, though, yeah, has its own Bloodthorn being queued up now, and that on top of the Empower, which level 20 Magnus just hit too, and of course he gets that much in the hands of Terrorblade especially. And OD, isn't the prettiest start here for Mickey, but this game goes on. Better off he's going to be building his own shots here. His own 10-second BKB, so it really felt like it was getting out of hand in favor of Mouz, but unable to siege as you're getting at, dealing really no damage to that tier 3 tower at either lane, and Terrorblade is one of these heroes that if you don't finish the game sooner than later, then it could definitely come back to haunt you really. Later game goes, so Harad it feels like, and Ag's finished by Abaddon. He was going to go really all out kind of utility support here.
I would have, I mean, I did suggest the Ags, I just wish that it would have come before the Solar Crest, because, yeah, like, I'm not really seeing the benefit of this Solar Crest in any of these fights. They're not picking off any targets, they're not blinding any targets that are valuable or anything like that. Like, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint where a Solar Crest comes into favor, but if it is difficult to pinpoint, then that means that it probably isn't the best game for it, because sometimes, you know, other games you're like, oh my god, the Solar Crest is so OP. I'm not really finding myself saying that this game, but it'll help take Roche, and the next Roche fight is going to be critical for both teams, because if you've got shiny 10-second BKBs on 2 NiP heroes, but if they can't get into the pit fast enough, then TA plus the Solar Crest is just going to melt Roche. So flares are being put on, but Trap is also in the pit. And both teams are just towing off.
Both teams definitely have decent ways to spot out Roche on here. So both definitely know what's happening. Arcane Rune spawns. It's one of those, like, who's gonna get it, but we're actually picking it up.
Nice. That's some valuable, most MVP target to get that. Okay, they go in. Flare spots it.
Oh, that is happening fast. Oh, he is dropping Roche on it, and I don't think he's
well.
That. Yeah, Skylark actually picked it up on Abaddon. Give it to him over the TA.
Under attack.
Yes,
TA is slotted out. She needs her boots, unlike an anti-mage or something like that. She will get permakited if she doesn't have boots, but she has the cheese. Oh wait, she had the cheese. Give it to Timbersaw. Or no? Who'd she give it to? Oh, they gave it to Ricky. Okay. Alright, now your siege is looking pretty solid. The thing is that they just need to do that. They need to siege. If they pick a fight, they're picking a fight into 2 10-second BKBs.
You know, RP is ready for the first thing. So one so far, again, Magnus in general for the series, led by both teams with that big RP. To be another one, or will Mouse finally be able to break through? Find out here. 9 minutes in this game. Elimination game. But Mouse is not gonna force it.
Yeah, unfortunately, TA doesn't have a pike, and so she doesn't have that bonus range. She has to get really out of position if she wants to be able to deal any damage to the high ground. They sent Abaddon to test the waters. The waters were scalding hot. He lost a bunch of int. Now Spartan. Oh, hook misses. TP.
Yep.
Oh!
He is good.
Maybe the cog would have caught him, but still very well played by Spartan. They need to get a pick, and so maybe next time he's going to be spending a lot of time on this Radiant side of the map, and oh, okay, Bane bought the gem. Still, Radiant have not bought in a gem yet, and that's so surprising to me, because they have a bunch of great carriers now. Magnus has a lot of, you know, he has a lot of items, but, you know, put the TP inside of your backpack, hold the gem, because if Ricky finds someone, then NiP fall to pieces.
Dust here on Clockwork, but yeah, the gem is that much more certain, guaranteed even. The gem on the other side is currently a courier. What's up with that, but Ricky himself is, in fact, yeah, he gets it. The carrier, and we'll pick it up, and he's looking to finish his own SNY. Goes back to that idea that Ricky himself is going to be combat hero well. Sport direction.
That's surprising though, because SMY does not really help with high ground sieging, and at this point you need items to help with high ground sieging. Maybe you go for like the Basher or utility items like, you know, I don't think Lincoln's or Lotus would be that valuable. Only thing you can really discourage is Frostbite and Astral, but Sanjin Yasha is a damage dealing item, and Mousesports have no issues dealing damage. Well, they have issues dealing damage to structures, but if they find heroes, they kill heroes, so I'm surprised that maybe next time is going for this, but maybe they just want to farm some more. They're confident in their late game, which I don't really know if they should be, but they're not trying to focus as much energy on picks as I was hoping they would, but Mousesports are kind of, I mean, NiP are respecting it. They're all sitting in their base anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, I looked at the levels overall, and actually that does favor Mouse quite a bit. You got level 25 TA now, with the Fraction instance. Timber's also level 25, and that's definitely a favor for Mouse. Again, you got, on the other side, it's Terrorblade's at 22, but gets that 25. PKS, I know you mentioned the idea of the Sunder earlier, the 10 seconds. 50 nulls. There was that one game we did see it. I'm blanking on which one it was, but
yeah, it was one game. But either he was gonna win either way or he was gonna lose either way. I don't remember, but it definitely did not change anything.
The wages of fear.
I hope Era doesn't go for it, because someone needs to be able to kill towers, and OD is not really the best tower sieger. Magnus is not the best tower sieger, and if NiP ever make it to the other side of the river, they will just melt towers, but that's assuming that Terrorblade is able to do work, and this is basically like a 5.5 slotted Terrorblade, so he can do work if you let him do it.
gets that Bloodthorn. He does not have a buyback currently.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is risky.
I was literally looking, he had it queued up still, and he had like 5,000 gold saved up. I was like, yeah, how much does he have surplus? But then he just buys it all. I was like, oh. Choosing to go without it for now.
Well, Aegis is gonna time out in like 15 seconds, so I guess like the worst of it has been weathered, but NiP still are like wedged into the base, which is the right call. Like they're down substantially in net worth, but they have no incentive to leave their base. The only way they lose is if one of their heroes gets picked. You let Mousesports come to you.
Mouse is being very patient though on the other side. Sometimes seem like they're doing the right thing, but thus we have kind of a standoff here.
Yeah, and 2 Midases a pop on both teams as well, so both teams are still getting the scalability. Oh, smoke up from NiP. They know that the the Aegis is down now.
Ricky blink daggers away quickly.
They still don't have a gem on anyone on Radiant.
Go, the open comes out. Bloodthorn flat immediately. Divas help slow him down. There's the trap. Hookshot hits in. Kills one Timber. So however, they want to fight this. Here we go. Tricks of the trade. The beat can be popped by TA. Magnus still has an RP, by the way. 4-second cooldown on that blink. So he is ready to go on the back lines. OD chasing. Cannot catch up though.
Yeah, but TA's BKB is down for another minute. She doesn't have her bottle anymore. If they could just, like, blow up Mike, that would be great, but he's pretty damn tanky. Okay, well, they get a good pick on the Terrorblade. The Timbersaw. They burn off a few Bloodstone charges. Timbersaw opted not to Yule's off the Bloodthorn Silence. Probably because, you know, it sets up for a hookshot, sets up for an RP or a skewer. So I understand why he held off, and he was trying to make as much distance as possible for TA to catch up, but that Bloodthorn crit plus the Solar Crust on the Clockwork is way too much damage.
Back to where we were before. NiP just going to push out here in the middle lane. And all the lanes really being constricted in their base. I mean, the division they're working with. They do get some finally up here at the top side. Other than that, pretty blind as far as the vision of the Mouse tier here on the Dire. It's pretty damn good. Expect a lot of these traps.
Yeah, a lot of traps. The entire Radiant map is just peppered. It's got freaking chicken pox on the mini-map, but that's what they need because, yet again, NiP still have not bought a gem yet. I don't know why not. I mean, I keep bringing it up, but, like, in addition to the traps, they went for that smoke, and if Ricky was the hero instead of Timbersaw, what would they have done? They would have just had to, like, dust, but CM is the hero with the dust, and Clockwork, but neither of these heroes can just, like, blink in and dust something. They need to commit one resource, their Force Staff, or for Clockwork, maybe the hookshot, to get in, but I don't know, they just, like, are so apprehensive about getting that detection.
It does seem a little odd. In fact, speaking on the other side with the gem, for maybe next time he does counter that vision that they just had up there. So much for at least having a little bit for NiP. But yeah, definitely an investment that you really kind of scratch your head.
Oh, finally. Thank you. Honey, yeah. Okay, so now you need to play Minesweeper. It's not against the techies, but you and your whole team need to go as a unit, because Clockwork himself will die, almost certainly, if he's solo. But if you bring all 5, all your BKBs are up, you know the enemy team doesn't have Aegis, you keep flaring the pit to make sure that Roche isn't going to be up, which it couldn't have even been up right now, but yeah, you're just getting as much information as possible, and they can start getting rid of some of these traps, start getting rid of some of the dire vision, and start gearing up for this Roche, because a tier 3 tower has not gone down yet, so they still have their top shrine as well.
And this is a pretty critical level 25 as well. Abaddon hits it, and I know that from what I've just been hearing from co-casters, just across the board, it feels like this is one of the stronger 25 talents in the game right now. The fact that it more than doubles the effectiveness of Aquatic Shield. 5 seconds essentially, giving 5
it's an early Roche.
Set target and explode for Aegis as well. Yeah, the Roche is going to be very quickly. Another Aegis. This time it'll be picked up by the TA.
That really sucks for NiP. That was like the quickest possible Roche spawn, and they were gearing up. You see like the top quarter-ish of the map finally got rid of all the dire vision, but they weren't able to migrate their way over, and as great as Flare is, it's on a cooldown, and TA just obliterates the Roche, and so now this 25 Aquatic Shield is going to be a problem, because we've seen how difficult it is for Mousesports to get on the high ground, but if you have a spell mitigating 500 damage, then it's a lot easier for a TA to get a few hits here and there. She still doesn't have a Pike or the Dragonlance, so still you have to get very close and personal with the tower to deal damage, but, oh man, she actually dropped her boots. Look how slow, this is like a, tank TA with like treads on her feet, not power treads, but like tank treads.
I like how she has both the boots actually in her backpack with the treads.
It's like her arms are so heavy, she's just like, these side blades are so goddamn, they weigh so much. And smoke up and she's still super slow. Yeah.
Trouble right here. Yeah, almost wants to smoke just simply ability at this point.
She's all alone up here.
That's interesting. Yeah, terribly. It's like, oh, do I really want to go though? I mean,
this is smart. They're splitting it.
They're gonna go for TA, but again, Refraction, she's distracted. But as you said, they're splitting bottom lane. They're pushing the tier 3 in. So I'm trying to keep an eye on both fights right here. TA is
they don't have detection.
Pops the BKB. They do not have detection, as you mentioned. The heroes that have it are at the bottom lane trying to defend this whole time. So Magnus now he's porting back in. And TA very much enjoying the party. He made with the boss coming in. Abaddon, he jumped on it.
Nice sheep stick.
For the borrowed time, still at first with the counter side. Donnie, meanwhile, Lotus Orb, here's Pop going off there. Nightmare on the tier blade. He's caught in the midst of this in the front line. And Christina will take it off here, but he's getting low. He's stunned out. The RP comes in from Magnus, getting the thunder off. No, he cannot. He's good block down. He has the Pyjamas. He's going to use it pretty quickly right here. Freezing field. Doing some good damage. Standing into the cliff in the midst of it. Nick gets some big damage off. Takes on maybe next time. No, the Infest comes out. And he's going to stay alive for the time being, able to blink strike forward.
Cheese.
And he'll somehow survive. Maybe next time pop the cheese. However, he's going to be put
Meanwhile,
under again.
Thug fighting terribly top.
What is happening? They're going at it. A skirmish over here. And now maybe next time is in trouble. Tricks of the trade. No, he could have gotten off the time. Jam will drop right there. But they kill OD in the process. The chase still happening. Meanwhile, TA, he's barely alive, but he is alive. That's what matters. Sunder is still ready to go again from Jailblade. Running them down. Not looking to center any targets here, though. He's the one with full life.
Thug is so heavy.
Forced out forward, trying to go for Skylar. He has borrowed time as the evasion's coming out from the solar crest. Down goes Magnus as he jumps in. And a buyback onto Ricky now. The BKB and the raid boss is here. Era putting in the auto attacks into Matara, but not enough. That Lotus Orb helping to keep him alive. And now Thug turns on Era. Era, that's going to be a tieback. He's dead for under 10 seconds. And Mouse might have just broken through, although OG, he's still back up now himself with the buyback. And looking to make some plays, but maybe next time running it down. He's just simply trying to live. Is the OG going toe-to-toe? No, he'll go down to the Ricky as Abaddon is picked off, though. Now Thug is chasing after Madness. This is constantly happening. Non-stop battle here. Trixie is going to get cut down. No buybacks. That may have just done it for Mousesports here.
There were a handful of misplays on NiP, but it came down to the fact that Mousesports were just able to spread NiP so thin. Thug was able to take down the top tier 3 success. Terribly, he was like, I have to deal with this TA, I can't join the rest of my team for this fight bot, and Madara was just looping around constantly. He doesn't even have his Bloodstone anymore, but he was still having infinite mana regen, was able to sustain throughout the entire siege, and they're gonna go for the game, and they're gonna get it.
Well, might as well, yeah. Obviously, at this point, they know for sure nobody wasn't confident already. PG's being called in for the finish on now. Of course, moving on to some of the qualifiers to play pro so that they get that rematch, as mentioned from earlier on the event. NiP, they're broken here, unfortunately. They got the game victory, but it is the best of 3, and Mousesports got the next 2. So well played by them. And you know, with the way that game was going too, it got really slow there at the end, but it was bound to have an epic fight to finish, and we definitely got it right there. Just back and forth battle between